Alright, so cleaning. This is a pain. I already have clothes in there, so I'm not really worried about dirt getting in there because I gotta wash clothes. But every so often, you're gonna have to clean these fins because it's going to build up and just won't look aesthetic. I mean, it still does the same thing as wash clothes, but cleaning it, it's just as easy as wiping it down. You're hard to reach, so right in, because you can't take this off because there's a spring in both areas, keeps it tensioned. But wiping down on the inside right here just to make it look a little bit cleaner. I haven't really had to worry about under this plastic because there's really no water that gets up and out. The problems that I have found, this hose. It works okay. If you don't put a lot of pressure behind it, it will work fine. But if you put a lot of pressure behind it, it will pop off and makes it a pain in the arse to continue. But other issues that I've come across, I've had to take the screw out of here. There's a screw under the handles, and I believe there's one or two in the back. But by chance that you drop a sock within the spinner, you're gonna have to take it apart. Pull this up, right here and right here, I believe. It has two straps. If those straps have broken, I don't believe it will work. It will work. But if you have problems with water not coming out of the spinner, at the lower backside of this, there is a drain hole, and maybe a piece of clothing or something is stuck down in that drain hole, plugging it up. But I keep it unscrewed because there's not really any need to, because just in case something happens, I can just go, okay, that's what it's wrong. I mean, when it overfills, it doesn't overfill through the sides. It goes straight through here up into the spinner because it's lower. The plastic's lower right here. So how I've started to fill up the washer is I went to Home Depot and I found a I believe this is 3/8 extension, and I have two of the handheld water, and I threaded them both together with some plumber's tape It has a really good seal on that. And just stick it in here. And it just starts filling. On the recommendations to do with this thing. Once you're done with your clothes, make sure you fill up the washer about an inch of water and drain it through. That'll keep all the hair, all the dirt from the inside and stuff building up. I still haven't figured out what exactly this is. Some people have stated that this is a lint catcher, and it doesn't really do a good job. I did do some modifications to the drain, just so it can, just so it can drain a little bit better. I went to Home Depot and I found a waterproof power box and an attachment that goes with it. This is so it has a little bit of weight for the pipe, and it basically, it doesn't fill up this, it drains out the bottom right here, and I have a lint catcher. You can find this at Walmart for $1.40 something, and all it is a metal mesh. Oop, I bumped the camera. This is one that about a month of use, and these are highly recommended if you are planning on using this as a daily. And basically, what I've noticed with this is you can do heavier clothes, but you can't do as much. If you do light clothes, you can fill it up a good bit. If you're doing heavy clothes, further down, because it takes more for the water or the motor to be able to spin it and wash it. On certain comments such as, man, your clothes must be dirty because the water was so dark. It's not because it's dirt. Like, if you had a washing machine that actually you had to fill, drain, then fill back up, you would actually see all the dirt that comes out of your clothes. So, with a grain of salt, I guess. Normally what I do is I'll fill it up a good bit, and I'll come right above, right about here-ish. But since I don't have very heavy clothes, I'll probably fill it right up to the top of this. I guess lint catcher, you can say. This really hasn't moved since I've put it here. I have a little coffee table, older coffee table that I got from Walmart about 4 or 5 years ago, and that's what it sits on, because I have no use for the coffee table itself, but, you know. So it's getting roughly about this point, right about. No. So, I put warm water in it. Don't put hot water. That's. don't put hot water, like scalding hot water in this, because it is plastic, it will melt. Once this is filled up, what I normally do is I'll take this, put it straight up, I'll hit the little lever, lift it up higher than the nozzle, and it will drain the majority out of the hose by siphon. So now this, I use Tide HE, high efficiency. I don't know if it makes a difference. I would not use powders. I don't see powders doing very well in this. Basically, just throw it in there. Close the lid. Normal. 15 minutes. Normally you would have the lid closed. Let's see. As the I have 2 or 3 towels in here. All the heavier stuff that's towards the bottom, you put it goes towards the top. But I'm going to get around this thing real quick. Well, you almost went swimming. Alright, so you can add stuff to it. Like, it's a heavier towel, and it's not really going to, you know, basically what the heavier it gets, the harder it is to spin. So if you're going to use this, use it wise, because the heavier it is, the harder it is to spin. If you have to separate it into 2 different loads, and because it's better to get your clothes clean than not. So normally what I'll do is I'll run this for 15 minutes as the timer. I'll drain it and then fill it back up with clean water and do the 15-minute cycle again, so it can get that wash dry, or wash rinse cycle. Once that's done, I normally will just hang up my clothes and let them air dry. If you are letting your clothes air dry, I would recommend this. Because if it's in a bathroom like I live in a 320 square foot apartment, this keeps the humidity and the... Alright, cat. Will keep the humidity and the odor and anything that will start to, or like mildew and stuff like that. This basically takes all the moisture out of it, so no problems. Basically, it has the stuff that absorbs the water, and as this dries, or as this starts to get more water, it'll drip down in the bottom, I would show you the used one, but actually I still can. Dun, 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 dun. Alright, so this is the used one, and as you can tell, it grabs the water from the air. You go through the top right here. This all is moisture over time. Where is, there it is. So the inside of this stuff, you can look it up and see what it's made of. That's hard as rock. So you can tell that this is well used, but it does do a good job of getting the humidity and everything down in the room. Because if you have damp clothes hanging up, you'll actually dry them a little bit faster. But it's not a big ordeal. It goes through its cycle. As you can tell, the water. The water itself, the wash cycle. The only issue that I've come across with air drying my clothes, and I have not figured out a way to, let me see if I can find an example. When air drying your clothes, they get really stiff. And I still haven't found an alternative for that yet, but that would be probably because the water's dripping off, or it's drying a little bit faster than normal, but I don't have any funky smells. That's a good thing. When, see, towels. Nope, those are good. So, these are the new towels I bought. They wash really well. These are the older Walmart towels that are a little bit cheaper. And just like the stiffness I was telling you about, after air drying, sometimes they get these hard spots, like just like that. Haven't really found a solution, but yeah. On the back of this has a fully accessible panel. You can see basically, if you know a little bit about technology, you can figure out which one's the pump, which one's the motors. Everything behind, under this is self-explanatory. The main things that I would say is keep up with the, after it's washed, do the rinse. So after you do your wash, rinse out both, because water doesn't really sit in it.